movies?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, this guy would come into town like on a Friday morning and go over to like the Keith Albee Theater, and it was just a real, like an old hippie, and he had these reels of film, and they would show them at midnight, and some of the stuff was incredible. And I remember seeing a couple of them. One of them was Led Zeppelin, another was Pink Floyd, and you're going, where did he get all this stuff? Well, I'm sure it was underground somehow, because the guy kind of, came into town, took the cash, and dashed. But I wonder if any of these old documentaries have come from something like that.
It's hard telling. In these days of streaming, you can do a search and you can find just about anything that you want to find.
Yeah.
For free. A Night Flight, which was a series in the 80s, they have their own streaming channel. And it's incredible the movies they have on there. Things like this you're talking about, plus a lot of B and even C and even some D movies from the late 60s and early 70s. And it's just kind of neat to go back and be able to watch that.
All right. Well, yeah, you can get about anything you want these days. But I'll never forget that old disheveled guy that wore the headband that brought these old dusty movies into the Keith Albee, and then the next morning, zip, he was gone.
I think it was Wavy Gravy's brother.
Yeah, okay. All right, man. This update brought to you by Morgan Brothers Jewelers. The bros knows when it comes to quality jewelry through and through. And their doors will open this morning at 10. For 75 years, Morgan Brothers Jewelers in downtown Portsmouth has been your go-to location for fine jewelry, watches, and more. When it comes to either buying or repair, Rick Morgan, Mark Morgan, and Aaron are there when those doors open at 10 o'clock Tuesday through Saturday. Morgan Brothers is an institution, and they're easy to find at 739 5th Street in Portsmouth. If you'd like to check out what they've got, simply go to their Facebook page or call 353-3259. That's Morgan Brothers Jewelers, 75 years and counting. And 9:09, time for sports, brought to you by Little Septic Service. And they're at Wheelersburg in Wheelersburg. Just give them a call at 574-2033, because every septic tank will need to be inspected. And with your sports, here's Chuck.
Thank you, Steve. Another tough one for the Reds yesterday as they fell at the Arizona Diamondbacks 2-1. The D-backs wind up taking 2 out of 3 to win this series. Cincinnati has dropped 10 games so far this year that have been decided by 1 run. Cincinnati really got a good pitching performance from Andrew Abbott yesterday. He provided the Reds with 7 solid innings, allowing 1 run off of 4 hits, but the Diamondbacks would score the go-ahead run in the 8th inning. Fernando Cruz gave that up and took the loss. The Reds offensively only had 3 hits last night. Santiago Espinal belted a home run, and Jimmer Candelario logged a double, but it was not enough firepower, nowhere near enough. The Reds will now head to L.A. to open up a 4-game series with the Dodgers, and you can hear this evening's contest on Fox Sportsmouth AM 1260 and 95.7 FM. It's a late one. Coverage starts at 9:40, leading up to the 10:10 first pitch. Brent Suter, who is normally a middle reliever, will get the start tonight for Cincinnati, while L.A. will counter with Tyler Glasnow. The Cleveland Guardians were shut out at Texas last night, 4-0. The Rangers avoided a sweep, but Cleveland still won the series, taking 2 out of 3. The Guardians will have the day off. They will host the Twins tomorrow. Last night in the NBA playoffs, the Cleveland Cavaliers fell at the Boston Celtics, 113-98. Boston wins the series in 5 games. Cleveland was without Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, and Karis LeVert. The Cavs fought hard, just didn't have enough. The Mavs were winners over the Thunder, 104-92, and with that, Dallas now leads that series 3-2. Tonight, Denver will visit Minnesota for an 8:30 tip-off. The Nuggets are up 3-2 in that series. The upcoming NFL schedule was released yesterday. The Cincinnati Bengals will host New England, Washington, Philadelphia, Las Vegas, and Denver, along with conference rivals Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. The Bengals will have 5 primetime matchups. In week number 3, Cincinnati will host a Monday nighter against the Washington Commanders. In week 6, the Bengals will play a Sunday night game at the New York Giants. In week 10, the Bengals will be on Thursday night football visiting Baltimore. In week 14, the Bengals will have a Monday night game at Dallas. And in week 16, on Thursday night, Cincinnati will host the Cleveland Browns. Speaking of the Brownies, they have 4 primetime games this upcoming season. In addition to that Week 16 Thursday nighter at Cincinnati, the Browns will have a Thursday night home game in week number 12 against Pittsburgh. A week later, in week number 13, the Browns will play a Monday night game at Denver. And in week 17, Cleveland will have a Sunday night game at home against the Miami Dolphins. Speaking of football, in college football news, the Ohio State Buckeyes will be playing their game this upcoming season at Northwestern at Wrigley Field, where the Cubs play. For all but 2 games this upcoming fall, the Northwestern Wildcats will be playing on a temporary field at the university's Evanston campus as Ryan Field undergoes a major construction project. Their 2 final games against Ohio State and Illinois will be played at Ryan Field. The Buckeyes will play this game against Northwestern at Wrigley on November the 16th. That stadium can hold just under 42,000 fans. In high school postseason baseball yesterday, Jackson was a winner over River Valley 7-0. And don't forget that the Del Rice Baseball League will have signups this Saturday at Larry Moore Sporting Goods on Gallia Street in Portsmouth. That will take place between 10 a.m. and noon. Your Portsmouth Insurance Sports Time is 9:13. Portsmouth Insurance is a TAH benefits partner. Give Gary Duzan a call for all of your employee benefit needs. And that is a look at sports.
All right, thank you, Chuck. And brought to you this morning by your friends at Little Septic Service again in Wheelersburg. That number, keep it handy if you've got a septic system. It's 574-2033. And we'll check your forecast. And on this Thursday, kick it off. The 90s at 9 next.